G'day and welcome to another massive edition of the RDFNL Netball Show. Thanks to our friends at Ontime Delivery Solutions. My name's Yeendy. I'm joined by Jordan Doyle, the RDFNL Operations Manager, who's showing us his expertise in the netball department, mate. It's about time you've got on board and showed some of your knowledge of netball. There's some great talent out there. I know you've been out watching a fair bit of netball this year, mate, and it's shaping up to be a pretty good competition.
Yeah, RDFNL netball is really strong, Yeendy, and look forward to discussing the round just gone.
Yeah, and we'll touch on the first game, which was an important game in the context of the competition. It was Romsey having their biggest win of the year, shooting their biggest score of the year when they took down Broadford 78-17 by 61 goals. Given Romsey's sort of trying to restructure their lineup a little bit without Hope playing in the goal mouth and Bronwyn and Blair out of the lineup with a season-ending injury, they've had to juggle things a little bit. So to come out and have a big win like this with that scoreline is important for that club. Yeah,
definitely, and that resounding victory, as you said, was important for them and holds them in good stead for the rest of the season. They'll be keen to get the wins on the board and move up the ladder.
Hopefully Broadford, they could just keep working at some of the key things in their lineup there, and hopefully can get some good results as the year goes on. Another terrific match on paper, and it certainly delivered for a big part of the game, at least earlier on. It was Macedon too strong for Wallen by 12 goals, I should say, 37-25. The sides met earlier in the year, and it was a 9-goal result in favour of the Cats, and the Pies have sort of built a nice little platform in resurrecting their season from that point. I think that the Cats, they've just been in sublime form.
Yeah, an undefeated side, really are the team to beat, and pretty good victory over Wallen away, who have been in really good form, and as you said, 12-goal victory, really set up in that second quarter, and good mate of mine, Ty Copping, here with best on court there, so they're building really well throughout the season and going to be the side to beat, no doubt.
Yeah, loving the work through their defence as well, with Katie Clark and Janelle Birch holding down some key shooters down there at the Pies who've been in some pretty good touch. And as you say, with your mate, she did some really good work there through the big court to set up the shooters who had a pretty good outing. But I like the fact that the Pies, they kept working away. It was pretty tough conditions out there on Saturday, and just a good hard physical game. We wouldn't have expected anything less between the two sides. So we might see these two sides clash in the finals, and after what we saw on Saturday, hopefully we continue to see some good games.
Yeah, definitely, and Wallen in third spot on the ladder is credit to them. They've had a great season so far, and as you say, I wouldn't be surprised if these two sides meet later in the year.
Yep, they're exactly right there. Looking at another game, a battle between two quality young sides. It was the Hawks going down to the Bombers by 38 goals. I know the Bombers used the opportunity to get a few younger girls in there and have some experience at A-grade netball, and Lauren Close didn't play on the day. It's good to see a good quality performance there from the Bombers, showcasing their tremendous depth.
Yeah, and as been spoken about throughout the season, Woodend are a pretty young side, and they're going to have their ups and downs throughout the season, and it was always going to be pretty tough for them taking on Riddle and trying to stop Beck Colwell up in the goals. And she shot 46 out of 62 and had a really strong performance, and resounding victory for the Bombers, and they were expected to do that, and that's what good sides do.
Yeah, great effort there by the Bombers. As we look ahead to the next game, and we've got Rupert's Wood and Mountain Centrals. While most other teams across Victoria had to brave the crazy weather that we had last Saturday, these two got to play inside, and we saw a pretty high scoring encounter. Rupert's Wood winning by 26 goals, 60-34, and I think probably one of the more intriguing things from the Central's perspective is that now our reigning defending Ryan medalists, one of them, it's ended up spending a little bit of time in the midcourt, that being in Beck Morabito.
Yeah, so she only shot 3 goals for the day, so she's obviously played the majority of the game in the midcourt, as you say, and she's a class player, and I'm sure that Beck can play in multiple positions, and they're trying her out up the court to see what she can do for the rest of the season, maybe, or maybe she will go back in the goals, but it wasn't enough to get over Rupert's Wood, as you said, indoors. Abby Gilmore shooting 27 goals, and strong victory from Rupert's Wood. Yeah,
exactly right. They set the game up in that third term, and with 15 goals to sort of push away to seal a very good win against a side that is always very hard to beat. And the final game I had to look at, and no doubt the team over at Ian Cow Reserve, the club over there, will still be celebrating this one. 2 wins probably about 3 or 4 weeks over the Diggers Rest, but it was Rockbank too strong there for Diggers Rest and jumping straight into the top 6 right in the finals calculations.
Yeah, and Lizzie Masterson's really happy with the way they're going at Rockbank, and as you say, mate, there's a pretty strong victory by Rockbank over Diggers Rest away. So Hicks again firing in the goals with 34, and Rhiannon Vining going really well also up there. So yeah, 14 goal win away. The Rams are really building for the second half of the year.
Love the effort in the second term there by the Rams. They scores were level at quarter time and they shot away to a 9-goal lead. So to power away like they have, they're a great team that's playing on tremendous confidence at the moment, and I think any team will have a lot of difficulty facing them as the rest of the year goes on.
Yeah, and I saw them nice and early in the season at Centrals, and very physical side, and they don't leave anything out in the court. So they're going to give their best every week and be pretty hard to beat whoever their opponent is.
Absolutely right, mate. As we turn our attention to this weekend's big games, and speaking of Rockbank, they do take on Romsey, who have been in incredible form this year and very difficult to beat, but this could be one of the matches well worth watching.
Yeah, definitely, and it's 5th versus 6th on the ladder, and we probably wouldn't have expected that these two sides would have been neck and neck on the ladder at this time of the year, but it's a real credit to Rockbank where they're at, and on their home court they're going to be pretty difficult to beat, but Romsey have been a quality side for a long time, so they'll be expecting to win as well.
Yeah, it should be a good test there for Romsey against a team that is really coming up, and hopefully they've got a lot to play for, Rockbank, in terms of playing in their first final series, I believe anyway, so it's certainly going to be a great contest to watch. Speaking of great contest to watch, Macedon Riddle, that is going to be an absolute cliffhanger.
Yeah, it is, and I saw this the first game of the year when these two sides match up against each other, and it was an exciting contest, and I'm sure it'll be another one again this weekend. And Colwell in the front court for Riddle's been really good, and Macedon have got some strong defenders, so I think the game will be won and lost at that end of the court. And yeah, whether Macedon can hold her to something under 30 goals, then they'll give themselves a chance. But she's been in really good form, and I think that's going to be where the game's won and lost for sure.
I think you're spot on there, mate, because the defence there of Macedon has been in great touch in recent weeks, and Beck Colwell has been fantastic in goals there for the Bombers. She doesn't shoot anything less than 85% even on the windiest day. So you're right, that's where the contest will be won and lost, and big chance here for the Bombers to upset the Cats, who have yet to drop a game this year. So we'll watch that one with interest. Broadford and Wallen, it's crazy. It hasn't felt that long ago when these two sides played off in round one, and the Pies got up by a goal in an important game between two sides who are making their debut in their current state at A-grade level, and both of them have sort of gone different directions. The Pies have gone up the ladder, and unfortunately for Broadford, they haven't been able to sustain that good form earlier in the year. Yeah,
and there's been contributing factors as to why that's been the case, with a few long-term injuries and crucial injuries to Broadford. As you said, Wallen have been really gone from strength to strength since that round one win, so they'll be expecting to get the win over Broadford this weekend, but every match is an opportunity for Broadford to get their first win on the board, and there's no reason why this week can't be it.
Spot on there, mate. Melbourne Centrals play host to Woodend Heskett. The Centrals basically playing for their finals here, and the Hawks are playing for experience and pride.
Yeah, and they're only one win away from each other on the ladder, and Woodend, as we've spoken about, have been a really young side, but they've had 2 wins this year, and they've got that experience of how to win. And as you say, Melbourne Centrals still in the hunt for the top 6, but this is a game that they can't afford to drop if they're going to make that. So with the restructure of their side last week, it'd be interesting to see if that continues this week, or if Beck goes back to shooting goals. But it'll be a tough contest, but you'd think Melbourne Centrals would be too good.
You would think so. And in the final game here, in a game that has big repercussions on what happens with the top 6, we've got Diggers Rest and Rupo. Should Rupert's Wood win, and as probably expect, if Romsey do get up over Rockbank, that 1 game gap between 6 and 7 still applies. But if Rupo win and Rockbank pinch a victory, Diggers Rest will be 2 games outside the top 6, and that's something they don't want, and no doubt they'll be throwing the kitchen sink at this one.
Yeah, and massive games for Rockbank and Diggers Rest, but as you said, Rupert's would have been in really good form, and on paper 8 wins for them and 4 for Diggers Rest. You'd probably expect Rupert's would to win, but Diggers will be expected to bounce back after their win last week as well, so should be a good contest.
Yeah, should be a really good round. This is a round where things really start to shake up. and no doubt we'll urge everyone to get out there and enjoy it. Hopefully better weather than what we saw last weekend. George, thanks so much for joining us on the show, mate, and give us a chop out. I know Tara will be looking forward to warming the seat next week, and we'll wish you all the best for the rest of the year.
Yeah, good on you, Yeendy. Thanks, mate.